said to me?
I said, you need to take the lead because I don't know what I'm doing. You actually listen to podcasts. I do not. I know nothing.
It's a rarity in our relationship. I'm treasuring this moment.
Then make the most of it.
Yeah.
And do a good job so I don't change my mind.
So, you don't change your mind. How appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Given that this is, in fact, so many machines with Devlyn.
That's me.
Yeah. And Morgan.
That's you.
That would be me. We're two queerbos.
Humans.
Queers.
Humans. People.
Okay. Well, I thought we were queers.
I mean, that's just one aspect of us, right?
Two queers who like to go antiquing during the time of COVID.
Yeah, this was not our first adventure that we have gone on.
This is the first one. Go ahead.
But we decided that, we should do like a little recordings about our adventures because we've had a good time. It's kind of a way to get out of the house and enjoy ourselves during quarantine where we can kind of safely distance from most people.
Yeah. And you wouldn't really associate social distancing with antiquing, but if you think about it, like, you're not supposed to touch stuff in the antique store.
And there's usually not a lot of people in the store at one time, especially where we've been going.
Which is kind of out of the way places.
Yeah, the preference is to find places that are less touristy, right, and more like local kind of junk shops, flea markets, little consignment antique malls.
Yeah.
Because I think we find the best stuff there.
You don't want picked over things that...
Or everything is like, all the furniture is refinished.
Yeah.
And they sell some paint. And that's the place. Those are cool too, but that's not what we're looking for.
That's not an antique store, that's a kid's shop.
Mm-hmm. Or everything is like a handcraft, which is also cool, but not what we're looking for.
Right. Like, if you want handcraft, you can do your own.
Yeah, what we're looking for, or what I'm looking for, is vintage sewing machines mostly. Yeah. And sewing related...
paraphernalia.
Yeah, stuff.
Paraphernalia.
Right. Yeah, but it's not the illegal kind of paraphernalia. It's perfectly legal.
Right. Just addicting.
Yes, and I have to say, I am not even close to the person with the most sewing machines. I feel like I have so many sewing machines, but there are so many people with so many more machines than I have.
So this is
many machines.
Is a machine. No, this is a podcast.
Oh.
For those of us who want to share that passion of having multiple sewing machines.
Or who just want to listen to us be weird.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what we're doing.
Well, I mean, I kind of do, but...
Okay, fair enough.
I think I do, because I listen to podcasts.
Anyways, we are located in Texas, and usually live outside of Humble, Texas. Don't pronounce the H. It's not humble, and neither are we.
No. Mm-mm. Because we are, in fact, Houstonians.
Houstonians. Houstonians.
Yeah. Humble is just a suburb of Houston.
I am clearly the humbler of the two of us.
Okay. So you certainly do like to humble me. So.
Yeah. So we decided to venture to Beaumont this weekend. And decided to travel the
road less traveled.
Yeah, we decided not to go on the interstate.
Because Moncton is okay.
Also, Morgan's been in a couple of accidents recently. And he's been very stressed when he gets on the highways, especially the interstate. And it was raining today. And
there's COVID.
There's crazy assholes out there driving right now.
Yeah, y'all, if you're driving in the time of please.
Please stop racing
It's not
on
Mad
the.
Max. I know the world is ending. You know, not to get political, but let's get political. You know, it's November coming and the world ending. You know?
I mean, you just don't have to race. You don't have to race up the fucking highway.
No. Don't take your life in your own hands. There's still hope.
Yeah, well, it's
Things
like
change.
it's like there's a death wish. Like, oh, I'm gonna speed up the highway, and it doesn't matter if I go to the hospital, which are full of COVID patients right now.
There is no bed for you right now, y'all.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Anyway,
I mean, I guess what we're doing is dumb too. But
I know. Slightly more calculated risk, I think.
Yeah.
But so we decided to take State Route. Is that what it was? State Route 90 instead. 1960 to 90, passing through a few different small towns. Dayton was our first stop of the day.
So Dayton, Liberty.
We passed through Devers and China, which we couldn't tell we passed through them, to be honest.
I mean, there was a little more to Devers than the west of China, I think.
Was there?
Yeah.
Or was it the opposite way? I think China was bigger. Have no idea. It was a pretty isolated stretch of highway.
Yeah.
At any rate, we survived.
It was quite pleasant.
Beautiful. It was so much prettier than traveling up the interstate, and less stressful.
Yeah, and there was still like plenty of restaurants and.
Yep. So we decided to stop at like little antique places that we found along the way, which we knew nothing about except from Google Maps.
So I guess that this first episode is really going to be kind of a review of the different places that we went, or are you going to give like a summary of all the machines you own?
I don't know. What are we doing?
I guess we'll go through the places that we've been, and then after that, we'll talk about the machines that you currently own and why people should collect sewing machines.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, we could have talked about that before we started, I guess. But instead, we're doing it during.
We're doing this live.
8 minutes in. And we have made a plan.
Well, that sounds like us. Or sounds like you.
Just an FYI, we're probably going to veer off the plan. So I think the first thing I need to mention is we went to Dayton, and as we're driving in Dayton, trying to find where we're first going to go, which was McDonald's, because we needed to eat breakfast, there was this creepy, like, sand factory or something.
Concrete.
It looked like some old horrible prison.
But when you see that, you'll know you're in Dayton because you can see it.
Yeah, it was huge and just looked completely derelict and abandoned, and like a place where or like this is a place where people get murdered.
Well, more like people would film thrillers.
Or where teenagers would go to scare the shit out of themselves.
I mean, I would go there to scare the shit out of myself.
Well,
that's a different podcast.
Yeah, you're a delicate flower when it comes to fear, though.
I mean, am I?
He's a screamer. Anyway.
I love horror.
So we went to, our first stop was at the resale shack. Where was that? Where was the resale shack?
In Dayton.
I know it was in Dayton. I was gonna, whatever. Anyways.
It was off of 90, right?
Yeah. It was right by the railroad tracks. And it was fabulous. We didn't find any sewing machine things there at all. But I had decided that I wanted to look for little boxes. Another thing I was looking for today was small, like, wooden boxes, tin boxes that when I sell a machine, I can include like little attachments in, because sometimes it comes with a accessory box and sometimes not. So
It's got like a bunch of bobbins or something.
yeah, you can put some bobbins. You can put different like.
I feel so weird that I know what bobbins are.
Yeah, little feet.
I don't sew at all.
You can put little feet on the presser foot, and the feet do different things. So most people only use one foot most of the time, but you want to have like an assortment of feet, just in case you want to put like a zipper and you need a zipper foot, or you want to make lots and lots of ruffles and you need a ruffler foot. And some of the machines, the vintage machines we looked at, came standard with a little box of attachments, and there were certain standard attachments. And so people who collect machines, which I am not one, despite the fact that I have a collection of machines, like to have all the different components together. And that's cool.
You just wanted to be able to put them somewhere.
Yeah. But I was like, if I were buying a machine, it would be more appealing if it came with like a little accessory set, so I don't have to go out and try to find these pieces. At any rate,
we got a box for you.
Yeah, we didn't get tiny boxes though.
Tiny box.
I got kind of a regular sized wooden toolbox. Has a lift out tray. Has a little handle. It was clearly handmade, but I thought it was pretty well made, and it was what, $10?
Yeah.
I was like, sold.
And then I got a leather case.
Oh, that was awesome.
Box.
That's a big box.
Huge box for like a couple of hats could fit in it.
Yeah, it's mostly round, but it has a flat side where it opens, I think, where the hinges. That one is fabulous. I love that box. I'm going to steal it, but don't tell Morgan. No, I'm not going to steal it. That's his box.
You can steal it.
I don't need that box. I have plenty of boxes. I will just covet that box. Sometimes it feels good to covet. Did you know that?
I'm not supposed to covet.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I sometimes like to just want something that I can't have.
Okay.
Sometimes. Anyway, so we found that, and I also found another box. It's like a linen covered box filled with what? Do you remember what's that? Cat note cards, which is another thing I love is
cats.
Cute. Well, I love cats, and
five.
I love...
You have 5. In addition to so many machines, there are 5 cats.
There's so many cats.
Which is a great thing for you to have, because you haven't even mentioned what you do for a living.
Oh, I'm a seamstress.
What do you sew?
Fabric.
Okay.
I make Renaissance costumes. And cosplay costumes.
And
sometimes just clothes, sometimes all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah. Sometimes, like, if somebody has a special request, like something kind of
I
you
do
can
custom
make that
stuff.
too, right?
Yeah, I hate doing alterations though, so please don't ask. So I love cats, but I also love note cards and stationery and stuff like that. Even though
you could get them all together and in a tiny box.
Oh my god! And the box on the lid had pictures of cats. The same cats that were on the note cards inside the box.
Imagine that.
It was perfect. Yeah. It was perfect.
Perfect.
And what's sad, of course, is that I never use my note cards.
You just like to look at them. You just take them out and stroke them.
I like to accrue them for some reason, but then I'm like,
I can't use
I'm
these
afraid
I'll need them.
No, it's not that I think I'll need them. I'm afraid to like ruin them by writing on them. But I started collecting them because I wanted to like include little notes in packages when I send them off from Etsy and stuff like that. But of course, I'm horrible at remembering to do that. So I usually don't. I think I've used maybe a handful of those cards over the years. Anywho.
Liberty? Do we want to talk about liberty? And I don't mean the freedoms that you and I enjoy.
Was there any... Oh! We also saw that cool love seat at the first place.
But we're not going to talk about that because we might go back for it.
Oh, that's true. We don't want somebody to snag it from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody might go and buy it.
Someone might hear this podcast,
right?
And drive from wherever you are in the world
to go to Dayton. To go to Dayton, Texas. Which is weird because I used to live in Dayton, Ohio.
Good information for stalkers.
Anywho, so then we went to Liberty.
That's on the bingo.
Oh my God, Liberty was so cool. What a fabulous place. We had such a good time there.
And they were like, it had its own little, like, old town feel to it.
It was so adorable. And there were 2 antique shops right next to each other. It was the perfect stop. And the people were just delightful.
Yeah.
They were having some technical difficulties when we got there, though. The lights had gone out.
We initially thought they didn't want to let us in.
Yeah,
because we were gay.
I was worried that they were just like, I don't know if you've been out going to little shops, but a lot of them are suffering a lot from lack of business. So they're struggling, and a lot of them are just closing down completely.
Well, and I am convinced that there are shops that, like, little old dudes run because their wives have told them they have to get rid of the junk.
Oh, definitely.
And that they don't actually ever open.
That's a spoiler because we're gonna mention the place that we saw today. That was It was like what this guy had in his garage.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, in Liberty, it was like the best because the first place we went into was Dovetail Antiques, and the lady reminded me of my grandma.
Oh, she was so sweet.
Yeah, she was very adorable. And so we walked through. There was a singer, there was an old singer in the back. It had a was it a hand crank one? I think it was. But they wanted what, $350 for it? $300?
Yeah.
Yeah, which it was a lovely machine, but
it was from Scotland. She was from Scotland too.
Yeah, I looked up her number.
We do gender our machines, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So singers are all girls, but I've never told you this, Morgan. But Kenmores and Brothers are boys.
All boys.
Yes.
So I am a trans man. At this point, I guess it's relevant since we're talking about gender. You are cis-ish.
I'm cis.
Sish.
Cis.
No.
Cis woman.
Cis-ish
woman. Anyway, I don't know. Why is that important?
Because we're gendering the machine.
Oh, we gendered the machines?
Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert, they don't have genitals. So.
Well, and genitals have nothing to do with gender.
They don't, which is why it's perfectly reasonable to gender them.
And if you do, you can, if you think that they do,
Yeah.
you can get right off this podcast because that's not what we're here about.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about sewing machines.
And their attachments.
Yeah. Their attachments.
If they don't have the right attachment, you just buy a new attachment.
See, I wish gender was like that. I wish that
interchangeable parts.
Yes.
Like, oh, I don't like this part. Let me exchange it for this other part.
See,
and can I get a cute box to put it in? So
now that we've lost roughly half of our listener audience.
So we didn't talk about that with the little old lady at Dovetail Antiques.
But we believe she would have had somewhat progressive views.
For her part, she did not blink an eye at us.
No.
Nobody today, I don't think, looked sideways at us. Despite the fact that
we're clearly queer.
We both have queer haircuts, at least.
Yeah.
We have a mask on, so it's hard to tell anything else about our face, but
yeah,
we definitely got a queer haircut.
Yeah.
So at Dovetail Antiques, we saw that one machine. It was a little out of my price range, to be honest. A little bit more than I would want to pay. But she was beautiful, and I took her picture, and I looked up her information. And then we found,
I think, that would have been a reasonable price if you were looking for a machine that worked right off the shop floor.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a unreasonable price at all for most people who are just buying one machine. Yeah. I'm looking for machines that need a little love and fixing up because I like tinkering on machines. And then I don't want them to just sit on my shelf. I want to sell them so that somebody can use them.
Oh, no, so because you like money.
Yeah, well, the collecting of the machines
has to be self-funded.
Has to pay for itself. Yeah, I have in fact been gifted many machines over the years, and most of those I fixed up and gave away. Collecting older machines is kind of a new thing for me.
But we'll get into that history.
Oh yeah, we'll do that later.
It's a totally different section.
Anyway, we're both ADD also.
ADHD.
ADD.
And on the spectrum, too.
You're on the spectrum.
Oh, wow. Thanks for just putting me out there on my own like that.
On the rainbow spectrum. Anyway, this was a treasure trove of fucking Singer attachments. Like, all the little feet. There was no, they didn't have a hammer attachment. I was really hoping they did. They had zigzag buttonholers. They had 2 different ones. No, 3. Did I get 3? No, I got 2.
You got that little space.
Oh, I got a blind stitch attachment one. Yeah, she brought out this little guy. Of course, after I started like gobbling up all of the attachments, because they came. Most of them had the original box. Mm-hmm. And they had the little instruction book that goes with them.
And there was that little instruction that was on her own, too.
Yeah, that was for a Model 66 treadle machine. But because they also made the Model 66 with motorized version. Singer did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I might have use for this on one of my future machines. Now, a lot of those manuals, you can just download a PDF, but for $8, I figured I'd just grab the manual.
If you ever find that machine, put her in the box.
Yeah, we can pair them up together. But, so, I'll have to, we're in a hotel room right now, so I'm not going to drag up all of my treasures and look through. But there was a blind hammer, there was also a box, like a full box of Greist attachments, which are...
What's a Greist attachment?
So, Greist is just a company. The reason I didn't grab those is because they have very specific feet, and I'm not sure I have a machine that they attach to. Plus, I also had several of those attachments already. Usually that particular one, it looks like a little 2-pronged fork that comes off the back.
And what does that do?
That attaches to whichever machine it goes to, and I think they're mostly on treadle machines. And I don't tend to grab treadle machines because space. They always need a table, the treadle, and I am in a 1,000 square foot apartment that was already quite full
of yarn and
before I started buying sewing machines. Extra sewing machines aside from the ones that I use every day. So I was excited to see all these attachments, and I looked it up online, and some of them were pretty available for a similar price, but most of the places we go to, and certainly all of the places today we went to, it was the only place aside from one that had any attachments at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll find the attachments as part of a combo, like the sewing machine and table, but they won't split them up for you.
Yeah, definitely. So it greatly depreciates the value of whatever they have.
Yeah, so we found several attachments there. I spent a whole bunch of money. And then she brings out at the end
as the deal to make your day.
Another buttonhole.
We could have gone home right after that, and you'd have had been delighted with yourself.
Seriously, yeah. I was quite happy.
You mean seriously?
Seriously. So then we went next door to On Time Antiques.
We were on time to go to On Time Antiques.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Do you remember that little, it was like a vanity case for traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the front. It had like little silver, it was like a box, and it had smaller boxes inside it. Did you see the price tag on that?
What was it?
It was like $1,500. Yeah, those were real, like either silver plated. It was beautiful.
And he had the travel wardrobe boxes too.
The travel wardrobe boxes. What do you mean?
Wardrobe chest to drawer.
Oh yeah, where it had drawers in it.
Right.
I did see those.
And then you take it on the train with you.
I know, those were fabulous. They were way out of my price range.
And then there was a wedding chest.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was like human sized.
Oh. But he had 2 machines there. Was it 2 or 3?
2.
It was 2.
Yeah.
Morgan found both of them. Morgan always goes ahead of me because he wants to scout out. He wants to be the finder of the machine, I'm pretty sure. You like to go fetch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I get told that I'm good.
You are a good boy.
Yeah. Good.
So he found the first one, which was a cute little 99K. And when I looked it up, like I knew that it was special because you didn't remember its birthday. It was my birthday.
Yeah, we won't give away your birthday.
I'm not going to say my birthday, but it was the same day. Not the same year. It was many years prior to my birth, but I saw that and I was like, oh my God. And there was a Sphinx. I think it's a Singer 127. I remember looking it up. We saw that.
We'll update in the show notes with whatever it winds up being.
Yeah, whatever he said. It came in a table that was in good condition. Had several things, not really good attachments.
Yeah, somebody had retrofitted it, right?
Yeah, we were looking at it, and I'm like, I don't think I think this is originally a treadle machine, and it had a little motor strapped on the back of it.
It was a Singer motor, though.
No, it was Universal motor.
Oh, okay.
It was not Singer, which is why I was like, I think this was added later. And there was a weird little light attached to it, too. The decals were in pretty good condition, but, I mean, she was rough, and so she uses a shuttle bobbin, which I have one machine that uses a shuttle.
We got last weekend.
Yeah.
And she is from 1918.
Yes.
Wait, is she from 1918 or 1920?
I don't know. Early 1900s.
She's
I think 1908, actually.
And her name is Beatrice.
Is her name
We've
Beatrice?
named her Beatrice. We're naming all of the machines.
We're naming them, but Morgan hasn't told me the names yet.
So if you have suggestions for names for machines,
that'd be great.
please send them.
But she is a Bradbury.
Yes, and the
Bradbury Family Sewing VS, which stands for Vibrating Shuttle, because she has a vibrating shuttle. But we're not talking about her.
We're not talking about vibrators today.
No, but she's the only other machine that I have that has a shuttle.
She's from Great Britain.
But she doesn't have a bobbin that goes in the shuttle.
If you have a bobbin.
I was looking at the Singer today.
Contemplating how you could.
I was like wondering. I wonder if this bobbin would fit in the Bradbury shuttle.
You did not steal it.
I did not, even though there were 2.
You were tempted.
I was so tempted, but I'm not a thief.
So.
I'm not a thief. Like I even like there was a little one of the little bobbins was in the bobbin winder, and like I pulled it out to kind of look at it, and I was putting it back in. I kind of dropped it, and I'm like, I could so easily put this in my pocket, but I didn't. I left it there. I put it back where I found it.
Do you need a good girl for that?
No, I was just like, You know what I should have done is I should have brought a measuring tape to measure, because I had it in my hand.
We can hit it on the way back tomorrow.
So I could measure it and see if it might fit in the shuttle.
You could always call that guy and ask him if he would sell you just the bobbin.
Yeah. Anyway, so I saw the motorized Sphinx. Hey, spoiler alert, we didn't get that machine. Because if we had, I would have both the bobbins and the little shuttle and the machine.
It was a beautiful machine.
But we did get the 99K that has the same birth date as me.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a pretty good deal on it. It has a more modern case. I think it was 1956. And I have another 99K. It's a Centennial version from, I think, 1951.
And that was the one that was the present from me.
Yes, you got that one from me. It was actually cheaper than this one.
Mm-hmm.
And came in a bentwood box, but this one came in a square box that's more modern. But the other one that I have, the wiring all needs to be redone, and this one, the wiring looked great. So I think I'm going to be able to plug it in and use it right away. So I'll just have to clean the motor and make her pretty, and then she should be ready to go to a new home. Oh, and we also got a little tin box there too. I think it was $2. Couldn't pass it up.
No, that was like it was like $5.
No, it wasn't.
The blue bonnet thing was $2.
No, the little tin box I found was $2.
Oh.
That's why I was like, sold. We found it right when we went in there.
And then
So in those two little places, I spent a couple $100 just on sewing machine attachments and a sewing machine.
And then the little bluebonnet thing. If you're not from the state of Texas, you don't know what a bluebonnet is. It is the state flower of Texas, and it is very special.
Yeah, it was almost like a little shot glass, but it wasn't. It was smaller.
I feel like it's
glass.
a little vase.
A little vase for a tiny
for
flower.
A bluebonnet.
For a tiny bluebonnet
Which you
petal.
shouldn't pick, but it's not illegal to pick bluebonnets.
Yeah.
But
So, like, I think I totally could have gone home after that. Like,
and we did discuss it.
yeah, because it was just like, it was the perfect stop. We hit these two places. We found so many cool things. We had a great time chatting with the people who own the places. And it was reassuring to see them still in business, you know, still thriving. I think the lady at the first shop said that she had been there. They had been in the business for what, 50 years?
30.
30 years?
30, 40, 50. What's the difference? I'm 30 now. But
yeah,
like
they were ancient though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't think they were ancient?
They were adorable.
Mm-hmm. So we made sure we wore our masks around them because we don't want to lose these precious people.
We wear our masks everywhere.
We do. Not everybody does, but we certainly do.
And the places that we have gone, everybody's wearing their masks.
Yeah, the people have been really good about wearing the masks. I think that's why we feel so comfortable.
Every place has hand sanitizer. You're supposed to sanitize up before you enter.
Well, and they've been like, I think that's why we felt like comfortable because there's very few people.
Y'all, we're like the only people in these massive, many thousands of square feet stores.
Yeah, usually. A lot of the times.
Like,
occasionally there's a few people, and we usually leave if there's too many people.
Yeah.
So then...
I mean, I think the highest capacity that I've seen is like 5 people. Except for that one gigantic place that we went later today.
Yeah, anyway. So we left there. And we had to stop. We had to have a restroom stop.
Yeah.
Because I had to poop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about poop sometimes, y'all.
Yeah.
Everybody poops.
Yeah. And I was like, I went to this place and I was like, oh God, it's kind of a rundown gas station. And I'm like, oh no, it's going to be terrible. And it wasn't. It was so clean.
It was magical. It was just like, you know...
So fresh and so clean.
The gas station of your dreams.
Yeah, and there was a grumpy guy there when you went in.
Yeah, who didn't have his mask on. He was a mask hole.
Fucking mask holes.
And the lady was like, man, you know, it doesn't take that much time to put a mask on. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. And she was like, I have the right to refuse him service.
Absolutely.
I was like, yeah, for sure. And she was selling them for like $1.99.
Yeah,
there
that's
was no
nothing.
reason for him not to have one.
No.
And so we just laughed about him not being an adult.
Well, and for that to be an infringement of your freedom, too, is so silly. Like, how many places that you go to, like, you have to show some sort of ID and people act like that.
Oh, my freedoms.
You know, people aren't going to refuse. Or, oh, you have to wear a shirt. Now, sometimes people don't wear shoes to places, I've heard. Not us, but...
My dad. my dad is a kooky aeronautics engineer.
Yeah.
Space
If he were wealthier, he'd be eccentric, but instead he just not wearing shoes.
He's a retired NASA engineer and former naval aviator.
Yeah.
Not retired from the military. He served 8 years. And
he may possibly have a derelict plane in the garage of his home.
He may, in fact, be a collector of planes, just as you are a collector.
Yes.
And is not a millionaire, so it's been interesting.
This collection just started this year, just like mine.
Well, I mean, you know, it's actually a really sad story. He lost his wife, my mother, last year, and so it's...
Everybody goes off the rails a little when they lose somebody close. How sad.
So who did you lose to get so many sewing machines?
You know who I lost.
Who?
A dear friend of mine died 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but this is a delayed response, huh?
No, Morgan didn't know me before my friend passed away. My friend was also my ex-husband, and we were very close. And it's how I ended up with all the cats, which I inherited, and a couple of the sewing machines, which I inherited.
He's who you learned how to become a seamstress through.
Yeah, he taught me how to sew. But so I understand going off the rails a little bit when somebody.
But not wearing your shoes.
I do wear shoes though.
Into a restaurant.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being like, this is an infringement of my freedom to have to wear shoes into the restaurant. But different strokes, right?
Different strokes for different folks. Different machines have different strokes. We should get back on topic. Perhaps.
Sometimes people are queer because of their sexuality, and sometimes people are just queer. In other ways. Anywho, so after the poop stop, we visited another shithole. Just kidding. It was a side of the road, just random
Claims
antique
to be
place.
an antique store.
Yeah, it was a junk shop, and not a good junk shop. It was like, well, Morgan had commented that this place was clearly this guy's wife's attempts to get him to clean out the garage, right? Yes. But then we noticed, well, you noticed the storage units.
Yeah.
So there was like a used store at kind of place, a really small one next door. And Morgan's like, oh, this guy owns the storage place. He probably lives in that house back there. And then when people don't pay for their storage unit, he just sells their shit in this little
Which I think is a perfect threat to get people to sell it, to like pay him on time. You see that shop over there?
Yeah, I'm not afraid to close up on you.
I will close on you so hard.
Yeah. But it was a weird little place. It felt like it should be bigger, but it wasn't. And yeah, there wasn't much in there. But we stopped it. It was like a 5-minute stop, and it's totally worth stopping at those little places. And I like having the luxury of not.
He did
feeling
not
rushed.
say hi to us, no matter how many times we said hello to him.
Right? That was weird.
It was very
He was
strange.
a little grumpy.
He looks a little bit like Hitler.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Like an old Hitler? Like Hitler if he was aged?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we were gonna.
I mean, I'm not trying to like
we don't remember
project upon the man. I'm just saying
that he was a Nazi.
No,
Okay.
he was not. He was not a Nazi. I'm sure he wasn't a Nazi.
Well, I did not see that coming. Anyway, we then tried to go to this
We'll
place.
cut that part, perhaps.
We tried to go to this place that was on Google Maps called Ezra Jack's Treasure Shack. And I was like, I told Morgan, look, this place may not exist. It's
it
on
sounds
here.
too perfect.
It's on here. It could be actually like a masturbation place, like one of those Jack Shacks. It could be some sort of code. And I think we had to. Didn't we pass another prison-like looking place on the way there?
That was Ezra Jack's.
No, that creepy place. There's a big. It wasn't a silo, but it was very tall and decrepit.
Some
like
sort of older factory.
Yeah, by this point we've reached the outskirts of Beaumont. And we're going past like a trailer park on one side of the road, and like really,
The trailer park had seen better days.
it really had. It was
pretty sad. Actually.
It was rough.
It was sad.
It was a rough trailer park, and I'm like, is this in somebody's house? Like, is it like one of the trailers, Ezra Jack's? But we never did find it. We found the address, and it was a plumbing place.
So Ezra Jack, if you're out there,
It was a trick.
please let us know. We would love to come and visit your shop.
Trixie Hobbitses with their bullshit treasure shack. Where's the treasure shack, Ezra Jack? Anyway, then we were gonna go to the
Is
South.
that the title for this episode?
Ezra
Treasure Shack, Ezra Jack.
I don't know. That's above my pay grade. That's all on you. And
Wow,
then
putting me in charge of things.
hey, you wanted to. Anyway, so then we were gonna go to the Salvation Army thrift store, with much protestations by Morgan. He was like, "You really want to spend your time going to the thrift store?" And I'm like, "That's just right there." I'm like, "Look, it'll be well organized. We'll be able to quickly tell if they have anything I want or not, and we can get in, out, no problem."
Mm-hmm.
They were closed. So
They heard we were coming. They were like,
Yep.
"Oh, the queers are coming."
no
we gotta-"
queer bows in here. We don't help them during Christmas, so fuck the queers. They were closed.
Mhm.
So we didn't go there, but we did go to Jan's Antiques.
And Jan.
I don't know if that was Jan and her husband or not, but whoever they were delightful.
So Jan, if you're out there,
We
your
love you.
employees are incredible.
Yeah, we love Jan's Antiques. On one side, it has like a regular antique store, mostly small furniture, small stuff. Nothing.
Some really nice, like I would say it's the good condition. Everything's in good condition.
Yeah, some really cute pieces. If I had been looking for some of that stuff, but like a real variety.
Mhm.
Like some places will
Like a
just
little
have like
prayer
dishes.
chair.
Yeah, there was like all sorts of cool stuff. And she asked us what we were looking for, and I told her that I'm always looking for sewing machines and sewing machine supplies and attachments. She's like, "Oh, I got a little featherweight here," and indeed she did. She thought it was like a, incomplete in some level. She said somebody had kind of like poached some parts off of her. But I didn't see any issues. The only thing that wasn't attached was the belt, and the belt was in the box. There was no feet attachments. There were some bobbins, which was cool. She had her bobbin case, I believe, and moving the hand wheel, moved the needle, so that was all working fine. And the belt was in the case, and I plugged it in, pressed the button on the pedal, and the motor ran. It didn't run the machine because the belt wasn't on it, but
Well, you know what? You should have told me. I have a featherweight belt in my
no,
bag.
the belt was in the box. And she's like, "Oh, maybe the belt is worn out, but it looked fine to me." So, anyway, she gave me a killer deal on it. The case was in good condition, and the last one I bought, the case was moldy, like thick ass mold on it. And
you paid more for that machine.
I did. I paid more for almost any machine.
But we're not gonna.
Yeah, but this, she was in good condition too. There's a little bit of wear and tear on her decals, but I think she's gonna fix up just fine. There might be some problem that I'm unaware of, but either way, absolutely a steal. Absolutely. So worth going there.
Yeah, I thought you said you weren't a thief.
Oh snap.
Now that lady knew you. She was giving you a good deal.
She did, but I was like, yeah, I don't think there's anything really missing. Anyways, so then she had some treadle machines in the back that I looked at. There's one Minnesota and one Singer, but I don't collect I don't collect the treadle machines. I did take a picture of the Minnesota though because she was pretty, and her table was beautiful.
Devlyn likes to flirt with the machines.
I really wish that some of the other tables, like for the non-treadle machines,
Weren't as pretty.
had those little tiny box-like drawers.
Yeah,
they're so adorable. Some people absolutely ravage treadle machines.
And it's
They'll take
evil.
they'll take the whole table off. They'll take the little box drawers and make little things out of them, like art pieces, and then they'll take the cast iron legs and the treadle piece, and then slap like a new top on it and make a table out of it.
And y'all, it's not upcycling if whatever's in there still works. Don't do it. Find yourself something that is old.
I mean, sometimes they're derelict, right?
Find something that's seen better days and can't be used for anything else.
I think sometimes people just find them cheap, even though they're not in bad condition, and they just kind of...
They have an idea in mind. Look, let's be realistic. It's Karen.
Yeah. It's so true. Now, I have to admit, some of those refinished tables are pretty cute. Like, I've seen some where they have taken the top of it, the top of like another table where maybe the legs gave out of a different table. Like I saw one that had a drop leaf, and I thought that was clever. And they put it on the Singer base, and it was like, oh, that's perfect because it's sturdy enough to not tip over. Some of those thin drop leaf tables can be a little unsteady.
Yeah.
So I was, sometimes they're cool, but it usually hurts my heart because, like, or they'll take the body of the machine and turn it into a lamp. Like, why? Why is it a lamp base? Anyway.
And you'll just talk to the machine and she'll be screaming. Karen lavished me.
Oh, and you bought me a present at Jan's Antiques.
Yeah, good.
Got me that cute wooden box with the
little French pastoral tiles.
Yeah, those are cute and so sweet. I put a little heart beside it on my notes.
Oh,
They got me the box.
that was so gay.
So cute. Then we went to the Shops of Midtown. This is in Beaumont proper.
What's with the accents now?
I don't know. Cultural appropriation.
Wow.
So it was two stories of different vendors, but like it was a huge place. Remember, it was like a warren of rooms,
Yeah.
and there was
There were some definitely cultural appropriation items there.
probably.
Yeah, I will say that is one of the most unpleasant things about like
The antique.
antiquing.
Yeah.
Antiquing is like antiquing
Clashes with
our principles.
Native American, like all sorts of stuff.
Native American stuff. Very often there will be like African art.
Yes.
That's clearly like, oh god, all
It's
sorts
okay.
of like.
I mean, it's okay to own those things. The problem is when you act like you came up with the idea,
Right.
and you're
right.
profiting off of it.
Right. Well, and sometimes like especially if it's like Chinese or Japanese items,
Mm-hmm.
like they won't actually be
From there.
from there. They'll just be some white dude's characterization of
True.
that art. But even more disturbing, obviously, perhaps most disturbing to me, is the continued racism towards black people in the antiquing industry. Like, in the year 2020, y'all, there's no reason to still be selling blackface dolls.
Oh God, yeah.
Like,
They're
please stop.
yeah. Those and the I don't know. It's always jarring to turn a corner and be confronted with a Confederate flag. We're not talking about like some sort
Or like
of
a Nazi Luger.
Oh yeah, right. Like not a historically significant flag, like one that had been hand sewn and it was from the Civil War. That would at least have some sort of historical significance, but it wouldn't be up on the wall getting dusty with pinholes in it. It's like that's somebody's idea of decor, of a cheap nylon flag that they picked up, and it's like, ugh, God, what does this have to do with what we're doing here?
Right. It's not even, I wouldn't want that even if it was like the real deal. But certainly Militaria is its own whole universe,
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who own those things who sometimes they own them to talk about the horrors and evils of like Nazism, or the horrors and evils of the Confederacy.
A lot of these things come from estate sales where like grandma had it, grandma died, they're clearing out her stuff, and
perhaps grandma was KKK member.
Yeah, and then there's all this stuff, and what do you do with it? You can throw it in the trash. But we're not talking about that even. It's like, yeah, it's the. Now there are museums. I believe there's a museum that collects those type of things. So if you have some blackface dollies and some other stuff like that, I think there is an actual museum that you could donate them to.
Where they discuss.
Yeah, they discuss the
problem
context.
Yeah.
Where it's not just like surprise racist doll in the store.
Right, and like there's this difference between, like a blackface doll and a doll that is
a black baby,
homemade doll.
Yeah.
Who was made,
for black children.
For black children
to play with.
And not just black children play with black dolls. Like,
that's true.
It's perfectly appropriate to raise your child with a multiracial doll collection.
Absolutely.
But
and we see those sometimes too, and they're cute. Usually old dolls are just creepy to me. I don't care what.
Yeah, I honestly, y'all, don't buy any old dolls.
They're haunted.
Don't do that to yourself. PSA. Anyway.
Oh, we saw that cool couch and the fainting couch at that.
Oh God, that was so cool.
Shops in Midtown.
They had lots of really cool.
They were like $300 each.
Mm-hmm.
Totally wanted them. And we have no space for that.
Shops of Midtown. Had we started talking about Shops of Midtown?
Yeah, because we talked about how there were 2 stories of lots of cool
By
stuff.
the way, y'all, Shops of Midtown did not have a bunch of racist stuff.
They did not.
No.
They did have that eye doctor chair with all the lenses.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And they had like a hair drying chair with the dome. And then they had that huge room. It looked like somebody's like attic. Somebody wealthy, like not us, but somebody with like old money and old antiques up in the attic, because it was like very cluttered, but lots of really beautiful pieces. There's a big desk up there that was just gorgeous. Yeah, that was a great place.
That? Do you think that was someone's entire lot?
I think that was one person's room.
That was one lot.
Yeah, because a lot of these antique places will rent out booths or spaces to individual people who put their stuff in there, and it can be anything. It's a variety of stuff. They pay their rent, and so it could be like we saw some like 80s memorabilia there, like toys and games. No sewing stuff, unfortunately, but lots of really neat stuff. Boxes and leather pants. Yeah. Oh, I did see a couple of machines there. I saw one at least. It was way up on a shelf.
What? Where at the Shops of Midtown?
Yeah. It was in that room with the leather pants.
Oh.
It was up on a shelf because that room was pretty bare. And it was up on one of the shelves. I don't think it was a singer, so I didn't look too closely. I'm not really a singer snob. It's just that's what I'm currently working on.
Unless we find something really compelling, like the
Bradbury.
And we'll probably do an entire episode on the Bradbury.
Yeah, because she's very cool.
Well, and it would be very interesting, I think, to take a deep dive into
like the historical significance.
Well, and that company, and especially if you can find bobbins for her. Okay, anyway.
So then we went to your favorite place.
Langston Antiques.
Yes.
And let me start with why it was so awesome. There was a poodle there.
There was a poodle there.
And I was raised by poodles. I was raised by standard poodles, but
she was very adorable and
she
sweet.
was a little sweet little poodle, but she wanted to tell us hello when we came in.
And there was another adorable old lady there.
I think it's really all the same old lady.
She just runs from place to place.
It's always a little old white lady.
Yes. So they had this place was just impressive walking in because they had a lot of really big furniture.
And really nice furniture.
Like they had a grand piano.
And I'm pretty sure she worked.
I think so. And they had a huge round table with there's like a coat of arms or something upholstered onto the seats of the chairs.
And yeah.
That one was really, really great. Oh.
Yeah.
People are sending me messages, so it's making beeping.
We should probably go over that. So we went to my favorite place, which was Langston Antiques.
Yes.
Right when you walked into this place, it was impressive.
Yeah. Because why?
There was a big round table. And I felt like King Arthur.
Did you? And all the chairs were upholstered with like a coat of arms or something very
majestic.
Coat of armsy.
Yeah.
That was very cool. And big long
grand
buffet.
Piano.
Yeah, grand piano, but there was a big long buffet with a marble top.
And a lot of the times when you go to these places, you don't know you don't know if the furniture's real. right? You
Yeah.
don't know what's been done to it. Um, this place was very clearly a professional, like, antique dealer, right? Like, well, all of the places we went to today were legit antique stores.
Definitely.
But, except for that one guy in his storage place.
Yeah.
Oops. But, sorry, dude, but it's a great business idea, but not an antique store.
Yeah.
But this place was like, if you were a millionaire, where you would go
to furnish your home.
To furnish your home.
Yeah.
Right? Very.
It's very classy.
Upscale.
Very classy.
Yeah. I felt like,
very curated, I would say.
Yeah. I felt like we should have had some champagne while we were.
It was definitely too high class for me. It was beautiful, and I loved it. That shit was too expensive.
But you know what? We were not made to feel unwelcome in any way, shape, or form. She wanted us to look around. The little old lady was there for her daughter, which is a common occurrence. Like, the daughter will be the person who owns it, and me, mom, papa are there.
Right. Running things. I just want to mention one of the things that we saw a lot of today was paper sales books. Like, a very big lack of any kind of computers, or we also see a lot of ancient registers. Like the old National Register Company registers. Big metal ones.
And it's kind of nice.
It's very, it feels very authentic to it. And I'm sure it's a great way to keep a paper trail and make sure that everybody writes down exactly what is sold, because there's a lot of consignment going on, and they have to keep track of what was sold, who was the vendor, and how much they get. Because if you never ran a store where you have consignment items, you do not know the nightmare of keeping track of everybody's
what
stuff.
happens if one thing from one side goes to somebody else's?
Well, so the tags usually indicate, but what if a tag gets ripped off? Or what if somebody steals something? Who is responsible? Who is liable to, like, because it's like, did you sell it and you didn't give me the money, or did somebody steal it?
Yeah. And, like, a lot of these places also have, like, huge bins of, like, doorknobs or, you know, $3 enamel pens. And, you know, but one $3 enamel pen might not be much, but if an entire case of it goes walking out, it's a couple $100 right there.
Well, and so much of those small items are easily pocketed by people. And
are.
They definitely are. Having worked in a lot of retail establishments, you just get a lot of theft, petty theft usually, not big stuff usually.
Y'all, like, if it's not clear, we're quite liberal. So, you know, if it's Walmart, who cares?
Oh, I'm just gonna say, don't take what doesn't belong to you.
I don't care if you steal from Walmart. It's not my choice.
Well, moral compasses vary.
Yeah.
But,
we can edit that part out.
But I think it's easy to steal at places like this, and I think it's terrible for people to do that.
Yeah. Especially during these times.
Yeah, a lot of these places are struggling.
Wow, we're getting preachy.
You're always preachy. I'm just glad you're doing it to somebody, not me. But so at Langston Antiques, they had this beautiful room filled with all these Edwardian antiques.
Did we mention the poodle?
There was a poodle too, but I just want to say, so the lady told me the story about that stuff, which was that it was all in a house. There was a lady consigning it because she was the daughter of this lady who had a huge house, and all of the rooms were decorated in this style. And we're talking like Gibson girl looking stuff, all of these beautiful...
What's a Gibson girl?
So there was this modeling kind of style, certain type of hairstyles, all very Edwardian, very femme, very very pretty, very soft, usually tightly corseted. And I could be totally fucking up the whole idea of that, but just these beautiful, and there was lots of, in this room, there was lots of beautiful paintings, pictures, there was Victorian, like photo albums. Anyway, so all of these antiques were in this woman's house. And apparently she had even roped off the room so her children couldn't even go in them.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was these...
Let children...
So she has passed away, and now the daughter...
Grow up with your antiques.
The daughter is selling the stuff, usually like for very reasonable cost.
She would like to actually sell them.
Yeah, and you found a fabulous picture there.
So, I, to watch over my fairly strange father and brother and our time of bereavement, I have moved back home. And you and I live on different sides of Houston. And my father has decided to give me the master bedroom, which is where my mother died. Just want you all to know that she's playing with my hair while I try to tell the story. And it's not fair.
I was trying to comfort you.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
It's not comforting.
No, it is. Just keep petting. And so, my family is... I'm very fortunate to have grown up in a family with rather ancient oral traditions.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to go down that road.
Please, no.
It's a different story for a different time. But one side of my family goes back very, very far.
Yes, but you bought this picture.
But anyway, my whole reason for saying all of that is that we have a lot of antiques in our home. None of those antiques are ancient, but I love history, and that's why I've gone on this journey with you of antiquing. Is I grew up with history,
and also because you're an enabler.
I did not have that sort of childhood experience of grandma didn't let me touch the antiques. We, it was part of storytelling time that the different hand-me-downs and inheritance items were brought out and showed and passed around, right? So antiques are very much like they're not just to be looked at; they're to be lived with, right?
Yeah.
And so I am turning my now very large master suite into a nautical themed bedroom.
And we got it all cleaned out.
It's all cleaned out.
Moved some of the antique furniture in there.
Antique furniture in there, yeah. And I've got some paintings in there.
So we found a picture today.
And
tell us about the picture.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if she's a siren.
She's a siren.
So there's this lady. Is she in a white dress? I think it was a white dress.
She's in kind of a flowing dress, and I think she has a hat on or has a parasol.
She has a pink umbrella.
And is sitting on a rock.
With a book.
Near the ocean. And there are drowning men surrounding her, like, trying to get to her, but are dying and getting pulled under.
She does not care, y'all.
She's giving zero fucks about the fate of the gents who are trying to get her attention. I think she's trying to read a book. And
she doesn't care.
Or is daydreaming. But it's neither beckoning the men nor caring about their fate. It's just like it's like two different paintings where she is separate from them,
right?
But they are fully focused on
her.
trying to get to her.
It's such an interesting. It's very much not a male gaze,
right?
Painting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's very much like whoever painted that.
But it's not a painting, I don't think. I think it's
pastels. I
think it's pencil or charcoal or something. There's some color in there, so.
We think it's an original, not a print.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and there is some like damage to the actual paper. There's some water stains on it, and it definitely could use a professional cleaning. But it's still like it's very softly done, but it's still very clear. Like the faces of the drowning men are very clear, I think.
And there's a pair of hands that, off to one side that's just like
right,
just reaching up above.
Yes, there's like you don't even see their face anymore. They've sunk beneath the waves.
And it's so perfect. Like I love that. 'Cause
it's a great nautical theme.
Who amongst us has not been that woman at one point?
Right?
Like, I don't care.
Have you been that woman?
Look, I mean,
in a former life.
In a former life. Like, it's a great statement about unwanted attention from men.
Yes.
And I love the message that they should go get fucked. Or perhaps die.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's like the siren story, but like she's not calling to them or doing anything to them. They want something from her, and because of their wants, they are dying.
Yes.
And she has nothing to do with it. But if you had asked them, they would probably blame her for their death.
Of course, I'm sure they would say she was a bitch.
Right. Stuck up bitch. How many times has one heard that?
Yeah, they probably called from their boats like, hey girl.
Hey, you want to see my dick? Maybe they even
suddenly became one of those podcasts.
Right, became the unsolicited dick pic podcast. That'd be a great one too.
We could definitely make an unsolicited dick pic section where we send
unsolicited dick pics.
Just pictures of Richard Nixon.
Oh.
Some people who send us pictures.
At any rate, it's a lovely picture, and you got a smoking hot deal for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's lovely. There's so many lovely things there. And Morgan also wanted to get a book, but honestly, he has so many books, and there's so many books at his father's house.
There's no real sale value in books. And I know this because my mother was a librarian, y'all.
It's not even resale value. It's just like, where are you going to put it? All the bookshelves are full, and then some. And there's boxes and boxes of books. Yeah. They had some very cool books at this place. I don't know if you saw. They had
just my advice to people who are antiquing, just for a second. Just for 1 second.
Are you an antiques expert?
No, I am the daughter, son, child.
The child
of a librarian.
Yes.
Please don't spend your money on so-called antique books.
I mean, there was some neat ones though. They had some old Shakespearean books.
But if books smell,
Dickensian books,
that means that they're rotting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mildewed.
Books should not smell. Books like it cold.
Dry.
And we'll have another episode about books. And
or maybe not.
This is just so many machines.
Maybe if we find a machine that is a bookbinder or a printing press, we can talk about that more.
Would you let me buy a printing press?
No. So then after we left Flangston, which we stayed a really long time at. I'm just joking. Most of the time we go to places and Morgan is like, so you ready to go? And I'm like, oh, but there's a little corner over here I haven't peeked into. So he's very patient, but gently prodding. Sometimes we'll end up sitting on the floor because he has collapsed from waiting for me.
I'm a big guy, y'all.
But in this instance, I was kind of done with this place because it was beautiful and elegant and lovely.
And expensive.
And really nothing there that I want. I live in a 1,000 square foot garage apartment with 5 long-haired cats and so many machines and so much stuff that none of that stuff would fit in my apartment.
Yeah.
And that
Simon had to come home with me.
it's not that I didn't covet some of those things, like
that whole goddamn room you coveted.
Yeah, and the old tintype pictures from Victorians, even though some of those little children, some of them were quite ugly.
Creepy.
Yeah, just unfortunate children.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted those little picture books to look through because they were actual photographs of people.
Yeah.
But we left there and we were going to go to a place called Finder's Fair.
But Finder's Fair, you weren't open.
You were not open, and it looked so cool from when we looked in the window.
And there was a cute little, like, witchy store, or metaphysical store, maybe?
Yeah, she was burning some incense. She told us that the guy was kind of in and out. He wasn't really working regular hours. He's an older guy, so he's just kind of... Maybe he's been busy, like, not to be morbid, but, like, there might be more estate sales that he's been going to. Just saying. So I knew this next place was going to be fascinating because I had looked on the reviews on Google Maps, and it was a BAW resale, which I've decided means big ass warehouse.
Because y'all,
huge.
Not quite as huge as that one place we went.
In Rosenberg? The Red Queen place? Is that what you mean?
No, the one we went to last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Was that in Humble?
That was in Conroe.
Okay.
Yeah. This place, so is a true junk shop. Like, outside, there was junk all over the place. They actually have, like, was it a weekly yard sale? Every weekend they have like a yard sale where people can
at least once a month.
People can bring their stuff. Maybe it was once a month.
First Saturday, I thought you said.
Well, see, I don't know if that's what they were talking about. Anyway, at any rate, there were people vending outside, and then there was this huge warehouse, like with lots and lots of like industrial shelving holding all kinds of stuff. Looked like they took on complete estates. Like somebody died, they go in, clear out the house. They have clothes. They have every kind of decor item. They have like Rubbermaid totes filled with just random junk, like what you would put together yourself in your house as you're tidying up stuff. I have many of those similar boxes with just like random shit.
And that's, was lying all over the place.
Yeah, it was.
There were parts of the store you couldn't even get into because they were so.
Yeah. Oh, and overrun. Doors, doorknobs, windows, screws. just tons of stuff. Rusty old things.
Broken wood.
Yep. And so we had asked about sewing machines, and they're like, oh, they're kind of down there. And we saw many, many sewing machines. Some were in tables.
Legs for chairs and tables.
Oh yeah, so many, and wheels. But they were kind of like, there would be like a shelf and there'd be a bunch of like machine heads. I saw a lot of treadle machines without their treadles, which makes them difficult to use. And very, very rusty, very, very jammed up. I didn't see any
that you could save.
Yeah, the rusted ones, well, so they're out of my wheelhouse, right? A lot of them were treadle machines, which I don't collect, and some of them were not Singer brand. I saw a Pfaff that I was slightly tempted by, but I don't know enough about Pfaffs to be confident that I could fix it, or that it would be sellable.
Someone like to come on the show and talk about Pfaffs.
Pfaffs, I worked on one Pfaff, and it's an industrial, and it's owned by my friend Haas. And it's a walking foot, and
It's a Pfaff machine.
Well, it's a Pfaff. It's a great machine, but I do need to make a trip over there sometime to help him fix his timing, because the timing's off a little bit. But so there was also like machines in tables. Some of them were Singers. I saw several. Well, maybe not several, like I think 2 or 3 that were just in a case. And I popped open the case, and they were also off-brands. So probably a Singer clone of some sort, or possibly even made by Singer, but just branded differently. But I didn't recognize them. And I was kind of... I have a lot of machines right now. I have kind of, like with the additional 2 from today, that's 2 more that I was expecting to have. But I sold the machine this week, so I was like,
You sold 2 machines this week.
No, I sold the machine last week and one this week.
Okay, that's right.
But I was like...
yes, because last week there was the Great Saturday.
I got good deals, so I did find another... I found a couple of 99Ks. Which I do like those machines a lot, because they're a nice little 3/4 size machine. So not too big, not too heavy, but also not as petite as a featherweight.
Yeah.
So like nice solid little machine. And great in a table. What are you doing? What? Okay. I don't know. Morgan is making faces at me, and I don't know what he's doing. But apparently his Ritalin has worn off.
I was just writing you a note.
Okay. So the 99Ks are great in a case or in a table. But I believe that's the style of machine that needs to be in one of those 2, because it's got an uneven base.
Yeah. I don't know.
You need to stop whatever it is that you're doing.
Okay.
I don't know what is going on. But it's not okay.
We'll definitely get this part out.
So there were some Model 15s that I saw. Some were in pretty bad shape. Like the table for one of the 99Ks was in terrible shape. The lamination was all peeling off. Yeah. I did find one that was in a nice enough table. Nothing special about the table. And the machine was in pretty good shape. So I made an offer on it, and they didn't take it.
And it'll probably still be there.
It'll probably still be there if I decide I want to go back and get it at some point. But the price they were asking was fair.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a bad price. It was just like, I already have a lot of machines, and I didn't really need another, so I kind of lowballed them, because I figured if they accept my offer, bonus, and if they don't, no big deal. We already really... And as a result, we didn't have to reshuffle things in the car.
Oh, God.
Because that one had a table, and so
we would have... It was a long walk to the car.
It really was. It would have been a hassle.
I don't know if they would have let me pull that car in there, because I think that was for their drunkers.
No, they would have let us pull it up if we bought something. Yeah. So, passed on that, but we were exhausted by this point, because that place was not air-conditioned at all.
And we were grumpy.
And we had masks on, and there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Some mask holes were there, too.
But it was pretty spread out.
It was huge.
Like,
it was
so
a huge
you,
place.
like, even if there were mask holes there, like, you didn't have to be anywhere close to them.
Yeah.
And I still would not say that there were more than, like, 20 people in the store.
No, and it was massive. It really was a huge warehouse.
Warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big ass.
Yeah, and just, like, packed with stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely just... Well, and I don't know if you noticed, but, like, in the back areas, there was some, like, organization, right? So like, further back into the stuff, there was, like, you know, bookshelves, and they would have, like, some of the stuff organized on it nicely, and, like, little kind of furniture groupings and stuff like that.
That's when they started.
Exactly, mine as well. And as they filled up, it became more and more densely packed further out from that, which is a strange way. It was like, they're like, oh, we don't want to mess up this organization because we have it organized. So then they just started stacking shit. Like, closer and closer to the door that you go, the more...
chaotic it gets.
Chaotic and...
Except for that one, like, flame vortex.
That's the COVID cough.
That one spot that was just like, you couldn't even get to it.
Oh, yeah, there was a couple like that where I was...
And there was a back office filled with stuff. Did you see that? It was like the factory, warehouse, like, floor boss dude's office.
Oh.
It was like a little...
Just crammed, huh? Well, and there was that, there was a room with mostly clothing. There was furniture back there, but I didn't even go in there, really.
No, do you smell?
Oh, it was terrible. I'm like, I could smell it through my mask, which is saying something, because it blocks a lot of foul odors. But it was potent, and I also felt kind of wheezy after being in there, so I'm like, no, I don't think there's anything important enough to venture in and to risk my lungs. But it was fabulous. We'll totally go back there again, even though we didn't buy anything.
Yeah.
Because I just think there's so many nooks and crannies to explore, and probably lots of cool stuff that we didn't see.
And some tetanus to catch, for sure.
You're right. You love the tetanus
stuff. The only
stuff.
thing I hated about that place was there was no prices on anything.
Oh, yeah. That was the worst. Like, even with the machine that I was looking at, there was no price tag. I had to take a picture of it, bring it up to them.
And they didn't know. They had to call.
And then they took a picture of my phone, of the picture up on my phone, and sent it to somebody who then gave them the price. And then I was like, would you take this other price? And then they had to call the person back. And then he's yelling, no, I said this price. And I was like, I'm going to pass.
So I would say y'all.
Yeah, and then you couldn't even get a price. You couldn't even get a price on the thing you were looking at. Those bells.
Yeah.
It didn't matter ultimately.
I was like, nah.
We were like so hot and sweaty, and hungry because we hadn't eaten since McDonald's early in the morning. So we were ready for
this time
food.
It was like 4:30.
Yeah, about that, because we got to the restaurant before really
before 5.
Yeah, and before really any other guests arrived.
And this is where our story takes a turn.
A turn for the worse? No, for the better.
Because we were hangry.
Yeah. But this was really, like, so all day we were doing this, and this is our, like, activity time. And then when we got to the restaurant, it really started, like, kind of date night, right?
Yeah.
And we debated about going to the hotel first, like checking into the hotel and getting a shower and then going to the restaurant.
Made it out.
Definitely not.
And I'm so glad that we did, because the place that we found,
so delightful.
Y'all.
And it was so empty. We felt comfortable eating in.
So we called to make a reservation, and we prefer to eat outside.
Definitely.
restaurants right now.
Yeah, it's a lower risk activity.
We honestly prefer to take our food home,
Mm-hmm.
but since we are out of town,
Yeah.
that was not really.
Well, and we sadly have had to pass on some good diner food
Mm-hmm.
because diners are just usually so small and crowded.
Yeah, and like, yeah.
And today was no exception. We did have good luck at a place a couple of weekends ago where we'd either gotten there early enough or late enough that they were kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
But today was not that. That's why we had gross McDonald's.
Ew.
Ew. But we found this place called Sugar's Deep South Cuisine and Jazz Bar. It was beautiful.
1924 building.
Yeah. We were definitely not upscale enough in our appearance for this particular place.
But they did not treat us that way.
No, everybody was so nice.
They were lovely over the phone. So we wanted a patio seating, but somebody had booked the entire patio for the evening.
Yeah. Which makes that's a good idea. Like, if you want to have a group of people who you've been, like, socially isolated with.
And have a blowout party.
And have a party just with your people. That would be
quarantine.
Your quarantine pod.
Quarantine cult.
Yeah, where you want to get together. I think that's it. Like, where everybody's in the same bubble.
Where everybody knows your name.
That's cheers. But we had such a good meal. And it was very nice. It was beautiful.
It was like a 4-course meal. Too.
Yours was a 4-course meal.
And it was very reasonable for what we got.
It was. We had 2 appetizers. And
they were huge, too.
Yeah, they were really good. And then you had a bowl of boudin. No, gumbo.
Chicken and sauce.
Bowl
I know
of
I'm
gumbo.
super cute, and you're looking at me, and you can barely speak because I'm so cute, but we gotta stay focused.
Oh. My bad. And I had the ribeye.
You had a ribeye.
Mm-hmm. It was, unfortunately, it came out a little too rare. I like it medium rare. This was...
Rare.
I think they walked it through a warm room, which is, like lots of Texans love that cook. I do not. If I have to, I can eat it.
But not at a restaurant.
And I don't enjoy it as well. Like, I want a ribeye to melt in my mouth, but still be
rare. So you want medium rare.
I want medium rare. I want a perfect steak.
Well,
and they did fix it, and it was great.
Yeah, the service there was so impeccable.
Yeah.
That, really, there's nothing to complain about whatsoever. And that food was out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Even the drink.
Oh yeah. Morgan had their little special drink. And we ordered coffee, which was excellent. Why does coffee taste so much better at a restaurant? Oh my god.
Especially after buying sewing machines.
Right? My coffee at home, it's fine. It's fine. But like I never take
an elevated experience at a restaurant.
It just is. And it doesn't have to be a flavored coffee. There doesn't have to be any flavorings.
I feel very adult when I drink coffee at a restaurant.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe people suspect that I'm a recovering alcoholic when I order coffee. Like, especially when you order a drink and I order coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, and you're like, here, have a drink. And I'm like, no. I wonder if the perception from the wait staff is that maybe I shouldn't drink. But I really just don't drink very much.
No.
Yeah.
What was I?
I did have a sip of your drink though. It was quite good, even though it had gin in it.
It was delicious. It tasted like a blue lemonade of some kind, which I don't know what would make make a lemonade blue,
but we were so stuffed that
they had to roll us out of there, y'all.
Yeah, so I asked for this big booth. I'm like, I know your booths are huge, but can we sit in a booth? Because I felt a little exposed at a table, and we've had an experience where we were told that there was socially distanced tables enforced.
And we had to get up and go to the patio.
Yeah, we had to leave and go to the patio because they placed a giant family beside us.
Children.
Yeah, and they filled that dining room, but not at this place. This was another experience. So I was like a little leery of eating in anyway, and then I kind of wanted the protection of being in a booth, and this had very, very high back, and it curved around.
Yeah.
So it's like we have kind
also
of
protect other people because we have gone to a lot of places.
Absolutely. And you can't wear a mask when you have food in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, we did wear our masks while we were waiting for our food.
Yeah, absolutely, as you're supposed to. But we, so we're in this booth, and it's just a little bit of a tight squeeze, especially on that curve.
Yes, we're big, yo.
Yeah, but also because the bench was a little high, so I didn't have a great deal of purchase with my feet.
Mm-hmm.
So like shifting along the bench,
Big people problems.
and then trying to go around the curve, it kind of made me feel a little bit like a child.
Me too.
Like the table seemed a little high.
And then with our little, antique clothing, comfortable, sensible shoes.
Right. Our
My
sneaky
corgi button down from Hot Topic.
Right. My hand-me-down tank top.
It was actually a pretty cute tank top, though. Like, it was a more formal tank top.
Yeah, I mean, it has some sort of style to it on some level. I believe it's actually an old maternity.
Yeah, I was going to wonder if you were going to talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah. Yes. Look, I'm totally happy with hand-me-down clothes. It means I don't have to go shopping for clothes. But it also means that the aesthetic of my clothes is frequently not my own. It's just the stuff that somebody's given me.
Which is hilarious because you make clothing for a living.
That suits my aesthetic enough to keep it and wear it.
Which is hilarious because you could make your own wardrobe of clothing.
I know, but I'm a lazy seamstress.
You
I'm easily distracted by playing on machines and working machines. I have this vision
of Mickey Mouse and Fantasia where he's all he's commanding all of the different household items to come together and take care of the castle for him.
Uh-huh.
And I imagine you with your machines making them do all of your projects for you.
I've been waiting for the gnomes to come and finish my projects for ages. But
gnomes are garden folk. And then there's the fae that take care of household tasks. They're brownies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Did you upset a brownie at some point in the house?
No, because brownies don't exist.
That's true. Little Scottish folklore for y'all.
So after we ate, we checked into our hotel. We're staying at the Hotel
Elegante.
The Hotel Elegante.
It's actually quite elegant.
It's not. You know what? It's not bad. There's some shitty construction going on in the parking lot.
But when you get inside, it's lovely.
Yeah, and we haven't left our room since we got in the room.
And the bed is very comfortable.
Yeah, it's a good bed. Except for the leg that's been placed onto me. I don't know why I can't just have my side of the bed. Anywho, how should we end this thing? Just by saying...
I guess you should talk about all of your machines.
Really? I haven't talked enough yet?
Tell me about your machines. How many machines does this make?
Okay, so there's my Brother Industrial machine, which I use every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have two sergers. One is a Husqvarna Viking Husky Lock machine, and the other is a Super Lock. I think it's a white brand Super Lock, which has it's an identical body and everything to the Husqvarna one, which is why I have it. And then I just sold my other industrial, which was my first industrial. And
what was she?
She was a Singer 20U clone, so made by Yamada, but the same design as a Singer 20U, which is a zigzag machine. And unfortunately, it was a very temperamental machine. And I love to tinker on machines, but that particular one required a lot of tinkering. But she ended up just kind of sitting around and being kind of a glorified bobbin winder, which is not an appropriate job. And I kept trying to find tasks that I would like to do on her, but ultimately it would just become an exercise.
Weren't right for each other.
Yeah.
And she's gone on.
She's gone on to a new home, and
I think she'll be very happy with her new partner.
I think she would be really happy doing embroidery work, honestly, and that's outside of my skill set.
But
so,
the gentleman that bought it, I think, will be able to do it.
I hope that he has a great time with her, because it's an excellent machine, and he got a good deal for her. Anyway, so then I have a Kenmore embroidery machine. It's an old one. So
Kenmore, like the kitchen folks?
Kenmore is a Sears brand.
Oh.
Yeah, Sears makes Kenmore. But this particular Kenmore embroidery machine was actually made by Janome. Janome, which is a well-respected sewing machine brand. And I didn't know that until just the past month when I was doing some research on her. Because I was looking for, it has a little slot where you can put in a type of memory card that has patterns on it for doing embroidery. And this is not a multi-thread embroidery machine. You have to swap out the threads manually. It does two types of like lettering. Yeah. One is like a script, and one is printed, like a block type. But I love it, and it's been a problem-free machine for almost 20 years now.
Who else do you have?
So, what am I up to now? How many am I up to?
I haven't.
Why haven't you been counting? You've been reading the book about Port Arthur. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I have another serger. It's in the house with Heather. And it is also the same exact body type as my other sergers. And it's made by Singer, so go figure. I've got 3 different brands, all the same machine. Who made it? I don't know. Because they're newer machines, so there's a lot of, like, sometimes the same factory produces the same machine for different brands. It's weird. But they all work pretty well. So then I have your featherweight, your great-grandmother's featherweight.
Which is a whole episode that we will do at some point.
And that's a 221K. I think it's a 221K. 221-1 maybe. And then I have...
And it was from what year was it from?
1935. I have 2 more now, featherweights. One I got last week and one I got today.
So how many is that?
Am I up to 8?
Jeez. Okay.
Why aren't you keeping track? Why aren't you keeping track, boy? And then I have that 99K that you bought me in the Bentwood box. And then I have the 99K that I just got today. Then I got the Bradbury, which I keep thinking is called the Bradley. And it's not.
Her name is Beatrice. Get it right.
Beatrice. And she's a vibrating shuttle machine, the only one I have, and a hand-operated machine, so no electricity at all.
Yeah. You could probably outfit her with electricity if you wanted to, or put her on a treadle.
You definitely could put her on a treadle and probably add a little motor if you wanted to.
Why would you do that? She's a beautiful girl.
She also has a Bentwood case, which is pretty spectacular.
Why is that? It was super special.
Just because they're a wood case, usually they're pretty thin wood, like that goes along the curve. And so that's pretty fragile. It can get knocked around a bit. Probably people set things on them.
She came all the way from Great Britain.
Water damage.
On a ship.
I mean, she's lovely, in great condition, and very old. So I'm very, like, over 100 years old.
I mean, I'm assuming she's been here in America for a while.
Yeah, and we have no idea of, like, where she came from or why.
We're going to do an episode on her.
Yeah. So what else do I have? Oh, I have a 201.
So that was you were at 10. She was 11 or 12.
I think she was 11. And then I have a 201K. Remember, we drove to Rosenberg to get her. I saw her on Facebook Marketplace, and
she's also a singer. Singer 201K.
Yes. And
is it the Rolls Royce one?
Yeah, that's the one that's nicknamed like the Rolls Royce machine, because apparently Rolls Royce used some of those to make the upholstery in their cars. But you know, I was very interested in seeing what she could do. Now, her wiring all needs to be redone, and she doesn't have a pedal yet, so I have to find a pedal for her. So she's going to be pretty extensive work to do, but I'm pretty sure I already have a buyer for her lined up. My friend Cletus is looking for a machine, and I think she's going to be the perfect fit for him, because she's a full-size machine. She's like the big sister, the big sister. So you've got the featherweight, which is like a half-size machine. You've got the 99K, which is a 3/4.
It's a home-size machine.
But all of them are.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 201, which is like the full-size big sister to the other two. They're quite adorable.
Or maybe mama.
Adorable, all lined up. But I think she's going to work really well for him, because he wants a nice, solid, straight stitch machine. She has reverse on her, and he's also going to help me learn how to rewire them, which will be awesome, because the 99K also needs to be in the Bentwood box, needs to be rewired. So I think it'll go pretty well, and it'll be a great machine for him, and probably get a lot of work. Her decals are in pretty good condition too. So let me see.
12.
Is that all of them?
Did you already do the ones you got today?
Oh no, I have another one. Yes, I did the ones I have to. I have another one. I have a 401A machine, which is a slant needle machine, the precursor to the Rocketeer. I had a 500A, which is the Rocketeer, and I just sold it. Was it yesterday? Yes. She was just picked up yesterday by my friend Anne, who was looking for a more heavy-duty machine. She had a Singer heavy-duty, a modern machine, and I'm not impressed by them. So they've got built-in stitches. They're an electronic machine. They're called heavy-duty, and maybe they're heavier duty than, like, a cheap.
Which you could buy at Walmart.
You can buy these at Walmart too,
Yeah.
but a cheaper machine that you could buy at Walmart. And I think some people have really great luck with them. But I feel like with that type of machine, it's a gamble, right? You buy this machine, it's a couple $100.
It's got plastic parts.
Plastic gears is the big problem. Plastic gears.
Oh,
Gears have teeth that have to fit into each other. And if you jam something, the gears can shred, they can break, they can wear down where they don't have teeth. You can imagine if every screw you tried to remove was plastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever stripped out a metal screw? I have sometimes I've almost stripped out metal screws on these Singer machines that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if those were plastic, it would just be a nightmare. You would never be able to fix them. So these are parts that are integral to the function.
You would have to melt it out.
Right. That's how you could remove it. But these are parts that are integral to the function of a machine made of plastic, and not even a more durable plastic, but like just shitty plastic. And I consider them disposable, because what happens if it breaks? You take it into the shop. Sewing machine repair shops are not cheap, but they're not expensive either. It takes time and effort to repair these machines, so I think they charge a fair price. But if they tell you, okay, it's going to be $150 to repair your $200 machine, what are you going to do? The machine already broke on you. Are you going to repair it and take that gamble again, or are you just going to buy a new machine? Well, guess what? Most people are going to buy a new machine. And it's not like, say somebody like me who tinkers on machine would even take that machine and be like, oh yeah, I can find more plastic gears to put in it, because that's the part that always fails. So you're not going to find a lot of those just laying around.
To fail.
It's kind of built to fail. And if you know that plastic gears almost always fail, why would you keep putting them in the machine? Because you want to.
Mm-hmm.
You want to. And somebody mentioned that it was probably price, and maybe price has something to do with it. Like, keep the price, because you'll see the same problem in a $100 machine, right?
Okay, but a piece of little piece of steel is not that expensive, y'all.
If you're making millions of them, especially.
Yeah.
It's not like
metal screws are in everything.
Yeah. If somebody can explain to me the economics behind this choice, please do. Feel free to contact me. However you can and explain to me why the fuck Singer keeps putting, and all of these, formerly reputable companies keep putting these shit parts in these machines.
Uh-oh. There goes your Singer endorsement.
YOLO.
You're not going to be able to...
Singer repair shops can't even repair a lot of these vintage machines. I'm on several Facebook groups with people who either collect or like to tinker like I do, or like to resell like I do. They don't know how to fix them. There's a lady bought, I don't know if it was a treadle machine or just an older like vintage Singer, when it took it into the authorized Singer repair
Singer
shop.
has all of their stuff very well documented, so it's not like you couldn't find it.
Mostly, for sure. There's a lot of it documented. Some of it had to be filled in by, collectors. But took it into an authorized Singer repair shop, a branded Singer machine, and they could not repair it for her. They didn't know how. And that's sad. So, you're left with people who are tinkers, and honestly, anybody can learn to fix these. It just takes time and patience. It doesn't take any particular huge skill set. And there's YouTube videos. I watch YouTube videos all the time showing me how to do certain things. There's a guy who has a channel called AndyTube.
Is that the guy who had the
what?
That room?
No, that was your thing. That was your research into the Bradbury machine,
Which we'll do later.
Yes, AndyTube is. This is a guy. It's an older guy. I've never seen him, so I don't know anything about him other than I've seen his hands, and I know he's an older gentleman because of his hands. But
his voice.
Yeah, he meticulously takes apart machines, documents everything he does to, like, clean them, fix them, restore them, put them all back together again. And it's been a real lifesaver a couple of times when I was having trouble getting different assemblies correct.
So Andy, if you're out there.
I mean, he's not listening to podcasts. He's not a millennial.
You don't know. He's
a boomer. Totally a boomer.
He's got a YouTube channel.
Look, he's got
better things to do.
He's got better things to do, like make videos on how to completely disassemble and reassemble a 401A.
What's a 401A?
It's a sewing machine.
What kind?
It's it's 401A Slant-O-Matic Singer
is that the one you
sewing
have?
machine. Yeah, that's the one I have. That one I'm keeping because it was given to me by my BFF, Heather. And it was her grandma's machine. So we're keeping it in the family.
Your BFF Heather, who may also be you.
Who is also an excellent seamstress.
Mm-hmm.
Just coincidentally. I think that's all the machines. How many did I get up to?
That's a lot.
I think it's 12.
I think it was like 13 or 14.
No, I don't think so.
Shall we count them again?
Nobody wants to listen to that. I have a spreadsheet for that where I keep track of all of the things.
Which we'll add in the show notes.
We can add information from it.
So, with that being said, we have to come up with a custom sign-off, right?
Oh, is this part of the podcast?
So long.
So long, farewell.
I'll leave you to say bye. It's been done before.
I know.
So
it's all been done.
So long, our sewing friends.
So long.
And partners of seamsters everywhere.
Yeah. This is Devlyn and Morgan from So Many Machines.
Signing off. So long.
So long.